Okay, in this movie, we're going to show how you can create a sign with some textured background to it. And so this is going to be a 3D sign, and this would require EnRoute Pro. I have a material on screen that is 30 by 10 inches by 0.75. So I'll start off here just by drawing a similarly sized part. I have 30 by 10 here. I'll just place this on the screen, select it, and then hit Control 5 to center that. Now let's do a little bit of an inline 0.75. Inline square, apply. And we might take the same line here and just do a small outline. Outline, square, apply. So we have a little shape to the outside there. Now let's bring some text in, and we'll just use Bookman Old Style as our font. And just bring some text in here. I'm going to center this and then use my text tool here to convert that to lines and arcs. Okay, so now I have some text, and the objective here would be to have a textured background and then this other text coming forward. And we'll just do kind of a simple outline here. So let's start by selecting that inner rectangle there. Come here to create relief, and I'm going to do a flat relief 100 resolution and hit apply. So now, there's more than one way you could do this. I can apply the texture and then only apply it to certain areas, or I could do the text and then just let it do a merge highest so that it would be above the plate. I'm actually going to come in here and let's take this material thickness I made. I'm going to make this 0.25 inches thick. Now I'm going to take the all the shapes here, which are the outer container, the border, and then the text. So I have blue to red, and then inside of blue, I'm going to go back to create relief, and I'm going to add on another 1/4 inch. So what I have on screen right now is a 1/2 inch thick. And let's hit F12 here and bring up this perspective view and zoom in, and we can see we just have it's almost like it is like we did an island fill with a 0.25 depth and created this 3D design. Now what I'm going to do is bring in a wood grain bitmap, or I could use a parametric texture here. Either one would work. I'm going to use this wood grain bitmap here, and this is one of the textures that comes with EnRoute. It's in the EnRoute textures folder, EnRoute 5 textures bitmaps. Let's see, I'll scroll down here, and here's wood. Now I can stretch this, and how I stretch this on screen is going to be the portion of this relief of this texture that gets created. So I can manipulate this texture with these handles, and then get the portion of this bitmap that I would like. Now I'm going to select everything here, and I want that to go from this inner border to this text, so I'm going to have to deselect something here. I'm going to come here and hit Control, and now I'm going from blue to red. And I'm going to back out here again and select this texture. So now I'm going with the relief selected, and with this blue and red container and the bitmap, I'm going to go to apply bitmap to relief. I'll choose a subtract, so it'll go into my 1/4 inch base, and let's say we're going to do a depth of 0.1 inches, and subtract and apply. And that container going from this border to this text means the texture would just apply in this outer area and inside of these areas, and not where the text is. All right, and a little processing thing is done here. Now I can turn off all the layers. So all I have is my contours and my relief, and we can see that texture was added there. So the next question would be, do we want to do anything with the text? I mean, we could just have this vertical text here, or we can actually come in here and select this Now, since I have this text and it's right where these other shapes are, I can use these 2D contours to do something here, and I come here to create relief. Now my base should be 0.25, or let's see, we'll do a base of 0.35. That leaves 0.15 for some type of work here. Let's do a little rounded 0.15, and I'll do constant height. And let's make it even a little softer there. And if we hit merge lowest, since this is already the maximum height here, by hitting merge lowest, we're gonna see whatever the new parts are, because they're gonna be lower than what was previously there. So you know, if we wanted to add a little bit of a shape to that, we could, or we could just keep it as a 2D border. Either way would be fine. Now let's come here, and now everything we've created has been on top of the plate and going up. And I did select my 0.5 inch. I happen to be able to get in there and get close to the edge and see that I've selected the relief. I'm now going to move this so that it's, here's my little button here, so that it's just inside the plate, resting at the top of the material, and any excess material would be here in the background. And I can treat any one of these views and just grab the handles if I want. I might make that just a little bit thinner than, so it's not touching the top of the material there. Okay, so we've positioned our relief. Now the next thing to do would be to select the toolpath, and probably for something like this, I would go with a hatch back and forth pattern. Choose maybe 3/16 ball nose. We're going to go to a depth of 0.5, but we're not going to probably get quite that deep. We'll apply the overcut and apply it to the relief. Do not want to have any type of tool compensation here. Well, it won't be applied to this type of part anyways. And then we would come here. Enter some variables, and we can decrease the speed if we want to at the controller, but that'll be what our maximum speed will go. And we'll hit OK here. One thing I don't recall is if I change the overlap percentage. It looks like the overlap isn't very tight here. We're going to try this one more time here with an overlap of 90%. So then the toolpath's going to go at a pretty high overlap there, so that we'll get a nice smooth surface. And the end result here is we'll want to see, was it able to get into these detailed little areas? If not, we might want to do a separate toolpath for the text itself, maybe with a little smaller tool to get better detail in the text. But first, let's see what this particular tool does. All right, so we have here a simulation. Play button. You can zoom in and out, and it'll update our view a little bit. And we can see actually that 3/16 bit looks like it did a pretty good job. So I don't think we need to get in there and clean that up with anything. Okay, so here's a toolpath simulation. We can zoom in here a little bit better and see that with this 3/16 ball nose tool, we did get some pretty good detail there. So the only question would be, maybe did we want to do a rough tool? If it were roughing it out of a hard material, we might need to do that. Or if it's a HDO or even a MDF, we might not need to do a rough. If it's MDF, I'd probably do a rough tool as well. And that would just be a matter of, we'll let this toolpath finish here. and hit F12 to get back to the top view. And so if you wanted to add a second toolpath that might be a rough tool, you would be able to go in here and either do an island fill or a hatch fill, either way. If you want to do a 2D rough, that would be possible. Let's change this to end mill. Put the depth as 0.35. We probably wouldn't need to go all the way down to the bottom. 50% overlap would be fine. We're going to offset from the surface here, 0.1 inches. 0.125 here. And you could do it as a step rough, which would be as a 2D, or allow it to follow the contour. And this would just cut above the surface here and clear away some material so that when you did the detailed cut, you would have less material to remove. There's an overview of how we would create a 3D texture and toolpath this using EnRoute software.